Sudan now, where tensions remain high in the South Kordofan province. The North has been accused of attacking the region, which is under the control of the Southern SPLM Army. Regional security has forced many foreign organizations and individuals to leave. One of those who remain is Ryan Boyette, an American who found his calling as a citizen journalist. I recently spoke with Mr. Boyette about his work and life in South Kordofan.
Well, I've been living in Southern Kordofan for almost 9 years now. I really feel accepted by the community. They've really become my friends and family. My wife is from there, and therefore I consider them like family.
There has been ongoing war, or at least some skirmishes here and there. How have you coped or managed to live through that?
At first it seemed even just the conditions of living were difficult, but as I lived there longer and longer, I actually am more used to living in Southern Kordofan of Sudan than anywhere else in the world. But once the fighting started this past June, there was a lot of bombing. There was a lot of ground fighting all over the entire state, not just Kadugli, which was reported in the news. But when all these bombings happen, you get worried. You get very worried when a MiG fighter jet flies over you, or when you hear Antonov bombings just a few kilometers away. It shakes you a little. But as time went on, I saw how the Nuba people, how resilient they are, and how they still stood firm when these things were happening. So that also encouraged me as well.
You are also involved in some vital work, trying to make sure the world knows about what's going on there. Tell me about your work, about your organization.
Well, me and my colleagues started a group called the Eyes and Ears Media Team. And this group is a group of citizen journalists, me being an expatriate into this team, but the rest of the team is all Southern Kordofan Sudanese nationals, and they're vital to the team. They are the ones who go out and collect the information from the front lines, as well as myself, and they bring the information back, in which we send this information out. Now, in comparison to the other things the other citizen journalism that's been going on in Egypt and Libya and some other places around the world, this is a bit different, because the people of Nuba, it's very hard for them to get this voice out, because there's limited access to even electricity, limited access to internet. So this team has been pushing this information out to people that need to get it.
So tell me exactly some of the stories or some of the incidents that you've managed to highlight during your work there as a citizen journalist.
As we're in the Nuba Mountains, in the SPLM-controlled areas, for instance, for example, if a plane flies over and bombs, we record the time of day that it's flying, the direction it's flying from, where it bombs. We record and we take pictures of if there are any casualties or wounded, and then we take that information and send it back out to people like the Sentinel Satellite Project, who will then take satellite images of the airstrip in El Obeid and see the exact same planes that are bombing just before they take off and after they land. They will help identify which planes, as well as our eyewitness accounts on the ground. So from there, we're able to determine that without a doubt that the Sudan Armed Forces are the ones bombing the people, and where they're coming from and where they're bombing. And one thing I need to say is that most of these bombs, they are not hitting military targets. They are landing in villages made of houses that are constructed of grass and mud, where the normal citizens live.
Very briefly, give me an account of yourself in the front line, or something that may have happened that will stay seared in your memory, that perhaps you will never forget, amongst all the other terrifying experiences you may have had.
The first time the bombing happened, there was a storm just north of our location, and we heard the storm rolling in, and you can hear thunder. But as you heard, there was one thunder that just kept rolling, and actually it was that MiG fighter jet. So I ran outside and I yelled to my wife and my colleagues, lay down, there's a MiG. We all laid down, and the bombs hit just a few kilometers from my location. And when those bombs went off, your whole body just stops for a minute, and you realize, and you really value your life. And at that point, it made me think about the children in the area who also have to lay down because of the bombs. And they will have to live for that for the rest of their lives. The other one is when I visited the one hospital that's in Nuba Mountains, and I saw all the people and all the civilians that were maimed, many children that are missing arms and legs, and I saw how their lives will be changed forever. This affected me a lot. And that's what made me want to come out here and tell this story, because this is happening every single day. Bombs are being dropped every day.
Ryan Boyette, a citizen journalist who lives in South Kordofan in Sudan.